Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives, back for a thread response. Yeah, it's definitely been a while since I've jumped on one of these, but this one was started by a couple of good friends of mine, Metal Mickey and Jurgen Allman. Be sure to go check out their videos that started this all. So what I thought I'd do is I really wanted to show you some albums from bands that I do love, have their whole discography. And in some cases, that's why I hold on to some of these. Terrible, are they 100% terrible? Yeah, that's debatable. And some of these might be actual favorite albums of yours. That's why, that's what makes this fun. We're all different. Don't get too bent out of shape if that's, I show your most favorite album of all time. It's just my opinion, but we don't need to say that, whatever. Anyways, in anticipation of, you're staring at this? Okay. Quick story. I'm dropping off a bag of clothes at the secondhand store. I jump back in my truck, and out of the corner of my eye, I see in the garbage can, this is sticking out. So not even a secondhand store could get rid of this. So I just, I had to rescue it and bring it home, dust it off, just to be that completist in my collection. So yeah, true story there. Okay, let's move on with this. We're going to show you 10 terrible albums from my collection. You know what degree of terrible? That's that's up to you. And there are actually, you can have a couple good songs on a terrible album, but overall, not good. So, in anticipation of a brand new album from the Scorpions in 2022 called Rock Believer. That is the title of their new album, which is honestly, I hate that title, but whatever. There's another thread. Start that one. 10 shitty titles, but here's one, and you can easily pick on their album from 90, whatever it was, Eye to Eye, but I'm going to show you another one that the lead-off track is fantastic, but after that, it is just not a good album. This is 1996's Pure Instinct, their 13th overall studio album. Yeah, not a good one from the Scorpions. Like I said, Wild Child, I thought, this is promising. But when they front load an album with the best song, and then it's just all downhill after that. So, and a lot of these albums I'll show you is ones I would not start you off with these bands. I'm a big fan of the 70s Scorpions, early 80s, mid 80s, but yeah, don't start off with Pure Instinct. All right, up next, we're going to go with actually a fairly new album, only a couple of years old. This is the 5th overall studio album from Enforcer called Zenith from 2019. I always said if you want to check out one track from this, Thunder in Hell is the only track, in my opinion, that really represents their other 4 albums. If you want some Enforcer, try From Beyond, great album, or Death by Fire. Those would be the ones I'd recommend, but this one, little experimental here and there, but not one I would recommend to you. A bit of a disappointment when this came out, truthfully. Next up, a few people have shown on this thread, I think a couple people have shown Crocus the Blitz, which there's another terrible title. And Crocus are known for cover, at least having one cover song on their albums. And on the Blitz, the Barroom Blitz, which in my opinion has never been a good song in the first place. Sorry to those that love it, but terrible cover by Crocus on that album. But the rest of the Blitz is not that bad, but it is a huge drop off from their big hit from 1983, Headhunter. If you have not heard Headhunter by Crocus, I recommend you go for that one. But anyways, what I'm getting at, the drop off for me came actually after the Blitz, which is their 9th overall studio album in 1986 called Change of Address, or Address, Change of Address. And I think they, I don't think that, or did they might have jumped record labels here too, but Change of Address, just a horrible cover too. But this is just not good. It is actually, it was produced by Tom Werman, Wehrman from Motley Crue fame. But you know what? It's just, here's a picture. They're all in these kind of space suits and stuff like that. But this is a huge drop off and not a great album. I would never recommend this to you. There's a cover on here of School's Out, Alice Cooper cover, not good at all. I don't know if I could name a track for you to actually check out. Geez, maybe the leadoff track called Now, but I do like Crocus, and you know what? Will I ever play this again? Yeah, probably, but just not a good one from Crocus, and a step down from the Blitz for sure. But if you want Crocus, go get Headhunter, or the one that came out before Headhunter called One Vice at a Time. Both awesome albums, highly recommend them. Next up, my favorite band, and my favorite band is in here. This is experimental at best, some touches of nu metal in here that I'm not a nu metal fan. Maybe there's one or two albums that I might like. I don't even remember, but here is 2001's Demolition from Judas Priest. You know, you can pick on albums like, you know, Virtual 11 from Iron Maiden, which I won't show that one today, but this is kind of Judas Priest's equivalent of that. But I mean, actually, Virtual 11 actually blows this thing out of the water. This is not good. It is way too long. It's a little over an hour long, 13 songs. Yeah, lyrically, not good. There is a few, musically, there's a couple good things on here, but overall, yeah, maybe you could check out the song One on One. Yeah, I don't know. Cyberfuge, not bad, but I think this is, you know, Judas Priest just hanging on, and probably at the time, KK and Glenn were probably like, okay, who's going to call Rob, because something has to be done. And no fault of Tim Ripper Owens, because if you've got a little bit of a snippet of the new KK's Priest album, it's going to be a scorcher this year for 2021. Definitely want to pick that one up. So, and Ripper sings on that, but this one is just Judas Priest hanging on for dear life. And we know what happens after this. Rob is back in the band 4 years later for Angel of Retribution, which, in my opinion, and I love Judas Priest, so don't get me wrong here, they really, I don't think they got a full grasp of, you know, you had Angel of Retribution, Nostradamus, and now I'm a Redeemer of Souls, but they really never hit the mark again until Firepower, which is an absolutely brilliant album. But not that those other three albums I just mentioned are terrible albums, but they just, you know what, they were gaining steam right till they got to Firepower, and you know what, they hit the mark with that one. Next up, another band that I love. This is their third overall studio album, and a real step down from their debut, Sirens, awesome EP. The Dungeons Are Calling. And then they had a great album called Power of the Night in 85. And this one came out in 86. This is a real letdown. I was disappointed in this album. This is Sabotage trying. So anyways, this is Sabotage, Fight for the Rock. There's a couple cover songs on here too. So, you know, when you're throwing in two cover songs on one album, you know that's a sign of some pretty thin, you know, thin material, just not, you know, not that good. You know, that's almost as bad as including a live track to end your album in Motley Crue. Anyways, yeah, I don't know if I could tell you much that I really like on this album. It's very, I guess I could sum it up, but they lost their edge on this album. The guitar tone is not that typical Chris Oliva, you know, that really eerie sound. But anyways, yeah, Wishing Well, maybe, good track. But other than that, this is just not a good album by Sabotage. And then a year later, they absolutely hit the mark when they teamed up with Paul O'Neill. And, you know, Hall of the Mountain King, absolute classic. So if you are new to Sabotage, go out and try Hall of the Mountain King, Gutter Ballet, or grab their first album that was just reissued some time ago called Sirens. Go check those ones out. But this one, I would put this one, check this one out last. All right, next up, let's go with the 11th studio album from the third incarnation of Van Halen. This is Van Halen 3 from 1998, featuring Gary Cherone on vocals. You know him from Extreme. Honestly, I am not a big fan of Extreme. I just don't get it. I don't get half their stuff, but yeah, they got a couple of good tracks and things like that, but they're just not for me. But anyways, so I think 3 years before this, you know, you had Sammy Hagar in the band. Things were going really good. And then Sammy left and they recruited Gary Cherone on vocals. But this is just a collection of, it's a mess, really. It's, you know, of course you have Eddie Van Halen on here, but you know, you hate to say anything bad about that guy, but this whole album is just uninspired to me. Gary doesn't quite fit the band, in my opinion, but if I had to tell you to check out one track that I do like on here is Fire in the Hole. But On a Hole, this is Down the Hole. Absolutely shitty cover too. They probably should have lowered this cannon about 10 inches because this thing is a kick to the nuts. It is not good. Next up, here's a band that you actually could pick on over and over and over if you wanted for the past, probably since they haven't really put out anything solid, in my opinion, since 1992, and that is the 11th overall studio album from Def Leppard. This is just not good whatsoever. This one, I'm not sure why I keep it. I don't even actually own all of Def Leppard's discography. So anyways, yeah. I saw them live a couple years back. They were really good live. I mean, they played tons of their old tracks, but at the time, I think they played one song off of this thing. I think it was called, I don't even, what did they play? Maybe Man Enough There's, and that's just a piece of shit of a song too. But anyways, yeah, just the wheels have fallen off years ago for these guys, but I will hang on to my love for their first few albums. Always spin those on a, you know, quite a regular basis. What do you got? 3 more left. Here's one that, whatever, I'm not going to say ruffle some feathers, but I'm just not a fan of this album. This is the reunion album with Ozzy Osbourne, 2013, Black Sabbath 13. What is this? This is their 19th overall studio album, produced by Rick Rubin. I'm not a huge Rick Rubin production fan in the first place. Yeah, he's fit some bands with, you know, some pretty good production. You know, you Slayer, or, you know, if you're a fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think he was involved in quite a bit of their stuff. But yeah, I mean, he's been with, he produced Metallica's Death Magnetic, which is not really a good album either, in my opinion. But this one, not much on here that I really like. It's just it's boring. It's a boring album, and you hate to say anything bad about Black Sabbath, but I'm sorry, it is not that good. I would, you know, I would highly recommend stuff that maybe you haven't heard. The Tony Martin era of Black Sabbath is way better than this. And you all know that Ozzy, the albums that Ozzy sang on, the classics. But this one, geez, I don't know. Maybe Loner. That would be an okay track, but the rest is just very forgettable. Black Sabbath 13. What are we going to go with? Okay. Here's a band that I love their first 4 albums, but after this, yeah, I only picked this up used probably a year ago, and I was like, yeah, should I even get it? Well, you might as well. Let's try it out. But this is Dawkins' first album in 8 years after, you know, their heyday, their good stuff, their Under Lock and Key, Back for the Attack, all that stuff. But this is called Dysfunctional, And yeah, that title absolutely sums up this album, in my opinion. Is there a couple good tracks? Yeah, possibly there is, but just, you know what, George, and this is the original lineup: George Lynch, Pilsen, Brown on drums, of course, Don Dokken. George hung on for one more album, and then you wouldn't see him again on a studio album. You know, they have the number of reunions, this and that, but nothing, you know, no George Lynch album that he's been on since the one after this. But no, not a great album. I wouldn't recommend this to you. I would always, if you want some Dokken, go grab Tooth and Nail and Under Lock and Key, even their debut, Back for the Attack. That's where it's at for Dokken. And last up is an album. Here's a band that I actually really do like, and I'm looking forward to something new from them. And this one, it's probably not a terrible album, but for what I expect from this band, it kind of is. Never really got into this one. This is Blind Guardian Twilight Orchestra. And, you know, the reason is this is not meant to be like a, you know, a straight power metal album. This is a whole story. Just, it's not my cup of tea. I'm just not a, you know, I'm not a Lord of the Rings, Hobbit guy with all these stories and little interludes and stuff. So I didn't quite get this one. This probably only got, I've only probably listened to this twice, to be honest with you, and probably won't listen to it again, but definitely still looking forward to some new Blind Guardian. They're a great band. Definitely not bashing on them, but I just thought I would show a few bands that I do really enjoy that have some not so good albums. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that look at some terrible albums. Let me know. Are these some of your least favorite from these bands, or are surprisingly, or are they some of your favorites? But anyways, just thought I'd jump on that thread. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, stay heavy.